All right, friends, good morning. Today we are going to talk about how we live our lives. So, as you know, I like to say shift happens. And as I look at what am I going to do with this business, right? How do I take my experience working in education, government, and industry, and my expertise in the fields of neuroscience, positive psychology, systems thinking, habits of mind, high performance, leadership? All of those domains lead us to living vibrant, abundant lives. And so my natural go-to when I start a new role, when I lead a new initiative, is I start operating from a place of mission, vision, and operating principles. And I define what I'm going to do, and I study. Well, what I've learned in this journey in creating online courses is if I study something and put it out there, you may not know that you need that. I've met people who are like, I think my life's pretty good. And I'm like, really? Okay. And they just have forgotten how to dream. They've lost sight of the possibility of what's possible. And they've started to settle into comfort, right? Yet that comfortable space brings us discontentment and discouragement. And so it's not from a place of comfort that we're designed to live, right? That in the moments of discomfort, we discover amazing things that are within us. And so that's where I'm like, how do I situate this? And then I'm learning, wow, God has worked through people. Last night, Gigi's language arts teacher. So as a parent, what do? We advocate for our kids, right? We know that we've got to network into the ways I want her to have support. And so I knew that was the teacher that's going to be the hardest one for her to succeed in their class. So at back to school night, you're trying to build those relationships, establish that connection. I felt so fortunate and blessed. And as a teacher, it used to make my day when people would buy me my book lists at the book fair. And so I thought, I feel so grateful to be experiencing the abundance I've felt in my life through a lot of strategic planning, a lot of mapping the skills that the world needs to what skills I could develop and bring into a place of work so that I could provide for my family. And I've been doing that mapping strategically for about 20 years now. And so I thought to myself, I'm now in a position where I can afford to give this teacher the gift of, I bought half the books on the book list. And there were some that had already been purchased. And I thought, I just want to make this person's day. I've had amazing parents. One of my favorites, Teresa, I just love you. She used to bring me a Starbucks often. And it was such a special treat because as an educator, I couldn't afford that. And so it was just this amazing act of kindness. And last night we're relaxing. We had went out with a neighbor and her two kids, and then we settled in. And all of a sudden, Gigi says, Mom, someone's at the door. In the country, no one comes to the door. They tell you they're coming. You hear them coming down the drive. You see them coming. You've got so much space that it's obvious when someone's coming your way, especially at night when you'd see headlights. And so I was like, who could this be? And I kid you not, I could not have been more surprised. He shows up with 2 smoothies, knowing that we're eating healthy, and the most beautifully written card, and a bag of Werther's candies, which I actually used to love. Those are one of my favorites. Yet I'm practicing good discernment about what I put in my body. So that's a little test for myself around, can you be strong? Can you continue to create the alkaline environment so that you starve these cells? I will never have cancer cells living in my body again. I am determined. That was very, very scary. And to have my little girl ask me, Mommy, who's going to take care of me if you die? I thought, oh my gosh. So the consequences of being abandoned and pregnant and being fiercely independent had struck in that moment. And I thought, well, maybe grandma. My brother doesn't really like kids, so he's out. My sister has a totally different life, doesn't really like horses, and Gigi loves horses. So I thought, I guess maybe grandma, who would you pick? And we had a really hard heart talk and conversation that led to me, doing my will and life planning in a different way. I usually do a dream-inspired life planning, looking at the great 8 dimensions of life and creating. My life plan right now is about 12 pages long. I spend a lot of time putting intention into my life. 12 pages sounds like a lot, but it's fun to build. It inspires this spirit of creativity. And so that's what I was hoping to share with you in the Life Design Lab. If you feel that that is something you need to do, that you need to create a vision for your life, I invite you to check out that program. I'm going to be going live every Wednesday with everybody who purchases it for free so that we can connect, because I know that when we learn, we also need support. It's not easy to navigate change by ourselves. I wouldn't be the energized, vibrant, happy person I am right now, navigating job loss and cancer and trying to build a new business and continue to maintain. My biggest fear is I'm going to lose the horse, I'm going to lose the house. And I cannot allow that into my mental energy or my mental space. So I have to replace that. What do I replace it with? My 12-page strategic plan, because that is exciting, my friends. You've got to excite yourself again. There are 3 lives that describe the human condition: caged, comfortable, and charged. Your goal, you will experience all of those, sometimes all in the same day, yet your goal is to feel charged more often. So what I notice about myself is that I am charged and most alive and vibrant, not first thing in the morning, even though I want to be. I've given myself permission to enjoy what my dear friend Beth, who I took through the high performance coaching program a few years ago, she used to say, I love a self-indulgent morning. And so I've thought, what is my self-indulgent morning? It's actually not insanely productive from a traditional to-do list perspective. It's productive in the sense that if I shift my thinking, it's productive because it brings me fuel and joy. It lays the foundation of the day. And I'm laying that foundation in peace. And from a place of peace, I easily get things done. So it feels really weird to me because I'm like, wow, I know in this cancer journey how I do things matters. That has been placed on my heart. I have a little one watching me, so I'm very aware of that every day. Yet God, in this bigger source that I can barely understand, has placed something in me that is beyond intellectual curiosity. It's beyond what I've ever experienced before. And so if you want to engage in the Life Design Lab and meet on Warrior Wednesdays to learn how to be fierce and how to be gentle with yourself, we've got a playbook for each of those, right? I'm wildly fierce with myself. I would not be a single mom on a solo income living on 5 acres in a gorgeous property if I had not been fierce. Yet, we don't have to work in a way that is filled with stress and tension and dishealth and awfulness, right? None of us want that. It's why we saw the Great Resignation. It's why we see increased abundance of people exploring this world that I'm exploring. And so we have to also shift from that fierce, focused, ferocious kind of way of being to, which reminds me of a friend, Stefan, he calls it my beast mode. I'm really good in beast mode, yet beast mode exhausts me. And when I was faced with cancer, I knew I have to do things differently, because for me, I thought, all I hear is battle. You're going to win this battle. You're going to win the war on cancer. You're going to kill. And I was like, battle, war, and kill when you're faced with a life-threatening disease and you know this is a high-growth, aggressive tumor. I thought, I actually just want compassion. I want a hug. I want to know it's going to be okay. And I put that out there. I said, God, please show me love. One of the most amazing women I've met in the past couple years, her name's Sam. She's Gigi's barber. And she is the biggest lover of God that I've ever met. And she would pray for me. She would send me voice memo prayers. She just started strengthening me. And she taught me that God works through people. So when I map people in my life, I'm like, okay, I see you working, God. You've got, Gigi's teacher coming over last night, a friend reaching out yesterday, 2 women who I'm loving having texts with, Donna and Susan, and just talking through their health challenges, Valerie and supporting each other, Tracy, like the women who are also right at my stage right now. And I'm like, okay, I see you working. You're working through people. So my natural go-to is to go into all the research, to look at all the lessons I've learned. And then I've a full disclosure. I'm not going to ruin the camera angle, but I've got stacks of books everywhere. I went to that fallback behavior and I thought, okay, I'm going to map out this business's strategic plan. I've written the mission, vision, and operating principles for building brilliance 7 times. I don't need to keep going back through old documents, historical documents. Where have we been? Analysis paralysis. Instead, the shift that I notice happening, and this is happening for those of you in sales, for those of you in the business world, the shift that's happening is people are relational. People want stories. No one wants the data table from the book of what they need. So it's interesting because a gentleman once taught me, you are like the medicine that everyone needs, but they don't know they need it and they think it's got to be hard. And so you've got to figure out how to wrap that medicine in bacon. So what I need most from you right now, I'm leaning into a shift that's happening from research and study to co-creation. Let's listen better to what do people really need? How can I help you? I genuinely want to help. I know I've made it to this level, and you don't make it here with your Pee-wee playbook, right? You're never going to make it to the pros with your Pee-wee playbook. Yet, we also have to learn how to ask for help. The whole reason we had the beautiful visit from Gigi's teacher last night is I reached out to every teacher and I said, I love you with my whole heart for caring for my child. And I need some support right now. I was just diagnosed with breast cancer, and one thing I know about kids is they often will fall down in the places where they feel safe. So that happens at home, and it happens at school in the classroom. And I said, here's the other thing. I know she's being strong for me, so I'm not going to see it at home. Can you please be my eyes and ears? I appreciate you so much. One of the strengths of mine is compassionate communication, compassionate, effective communication to help you achieve influence and a desired outcome. That might be a topic you want me to talk about. I need your help. I was like, I don't have anything to say, yet here we are 12 minutes in. Turns out I do have things to say, yet I don't want to say them just for the sake of me. I've already learned this stuff. So I want to create with you. As an educator, we have curriculum that we have to teach. I'm in a space where I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have to teach anything prescribed. I get to teach what people need. Tell me what you need, friends. I'm here for you. I've sent out so many prayers. Sam used to send me voice memo prayers, and I've been sending those out regularly because I feel really close right now to God and the Spirit. And I'm like, can I share that with you? Maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need a dose of information and scholarly study, rooting into these topics of psychology and knowing your mind, physiology, knowing your body, productivity, managing the time, manage the minutes that you're given each day and how you use them. And I say minutes with intention because it's easy to lose track of a day. Yet high performers, we don't. And if you don't think I'm not a high performer, yes, you are. You have it in you. We're all designed with brilliance. We're designed with that performance within us. And the reason we get stuck and that we feel miserable or sloppy or slouchy and is because we've lost sight of that. So let me help you gain some clarity and vision towards that. I would love to serve and support you in any way that I can. So please continue to reach out. I love your messages. And I think this might be, give me some feedback. I think this might be a place where I can share other people's stories and say, hey, I was talking to so-and-so. This might be helpful to you, right? I think that is so helpful. It helps us know we're not alone. It helps us verbally process and get ideas physically and energetically out of our bodies that might not be serving us. I know for me, when I'm ruminating on an idea that's not serving me, I literally can feel it. I feel the negativity. Yet when I make that shift happen towards a more joyful, positive perspective, woo, everything changes, right? It happened to me today. I wake up, I don't want to get out of bed, it's cold, the sky's kind of cloudy. This is the worst season of life for me. Winter is my misery. I had to shift and I had to use the tools that I've gained over 20 years of study. I use them naturally, so naturally that sometimes I don't even realize I'm using them. So I'm having to dive in, and what I'm realizing is I don't need to go back to the books. I've already done that. I want to create with you. So please reach out. Should I dare do this on YouTube? I'm going to do it and see what happens. My cell phone, 720-933-9236. Please text me a question and we'll co-create this together. Mwah!